The forest is silent, save for the soft crunch of pine needles under Emily Harper's boots. She's alone, her breath visible in the crisp Montana dawn, her camera slung across her chest. The air smells of sap and frost. She's come to Glacier National Park to capture the untamed beauty of its grizzlies, to show the world their majesty through her lens. 50 yards away, behind a cluster of lodgepole pines, a mother bear lifts her head, her nostrils flaring. Her cubs wrestle in the underbrush, oblivious. Emily doesn't see her. She adjusts her focus, framing a distant ridge, whispering to herself, "This is it." The bear's ears twitch. In 10 seconds, everything will change. I'm Lisa Campbell, and for 20 years, I've chased stories where the wild collides with the human, where instinct meets ambition, and the consequences are written in blood. This is the story of Emily Harper, a 32-year-old wildlife photographer whose love for bears led her to a moment she couldn't outrun. It's a story of beauty, hubris, and the raw power of nature, set against the rugged peaks of Glacier National Park in the summer of 2024. It's a tragedy that gripped a nation, sparked outrage, and forced us to confront an uncomfortable truth: when we step into the wild, we're not just visitors, we're intruders. Emily Harper was no tourist with a selfie stick. Born in Bozeman, Montana, she grew up with the Rockies as her backyard, climbing cliffs before she could drive and sketching grizzly bears in her childhood notebooks. By her 20s, she'd become a rising star in wildlife photography, her work featured in National Geographic and Outside magazine. Her Instagram, with 200,000 followers, was a gallery of intimate animal portraits: wolves mid-howl, elk silhouetted against sunsets, and bears, always bears, their eyes soulful and searching. "They're not monsters," she'd captioned one post. "They're mirrors." Emily was meticulous, almost obsessive. She studied bear behavior, carried bear spray, and preached safety in her workshops. But those who knew her, her partner, Jake, her editor, Sarah, saw a spark of recklessness beneath her caution. "She'd get this look," Jake told me, his voice cracking, like she was chasing something bigger than a photo, something spiritual. On July 12, 2024, Emily hiked alone into Glacier's backcountry, her pack heavy with gear, her heart set on capturing a grizzly family at dawn. She told Jake she'd be back by noon. She wasn't. The grizzly bear, Ursus arctos horribilis, is a paradox, a 600-pound predator that can sprint at 35 miles per hour, yet nurtures its cubs with a tenderness that rivals any human parent. The bear in Emily's story was a 7-year-old female, tagged as Bear 417 by park rangers. She weighed 450 pounds, her fur a mix of silver-tipped brown and scars from a hard life. She was a mother of 2 yearling cubs, fiercely protective, her instincts honed by years of surviving poachers, tourists, and shrinking habitats. Bear 417 was no stranger to humans. Rangers had tracked her since 2019, noting her territory overlapped with popular trails. She'd never attacked before, but she'd bluff-charged hikers who got too close. She was smart, said Dr. Rachel Voss, a wildlife biologist who studied 417's movements. She avoided conflict, but she wasn't afraid to draw a line. In July 2024, drought had pushed 417's food sources, huckleberries, roots, higher into the mountains, closer to human paths. Emily's trail was one of them. July 12, 2024, 6:47 a.m. The sun is just cresting the Bear Hat Mountain, casting a golden glow over the hidden lake trail. Emily moves quietly, her boots soft on the path. She's scouted this spot for weeks, knowing it's a corridor for grizzly families. Her camera, a Nikon Z9, is ready, its shutter silent to avoid startling wildlife. She's alone, a choice she'd later be criticized for, though she'd hiked solo countless times without incident. At 6:50 a.m., Emily spots movement. 2 cubs, clumsy and playful, tumble through the brush. Her heart races. She kneels, steadying her camera, her lens locking onto the cubs' antics. She doesn't see the mother, Bear 417, hidden by a stand of pines. The wind shifts, carrying Emily's scent, sweat, sunscreen, the faint tang of her granola bar. The bear's head snaps up. Her ears flatten. What happens next is reconstructed from Emily's camera footage, recovered later, and a coroner's report. At 6:51 a.m., Bear 417 charges. She covers the 50 yards in under 4 seconds, a blur of muscle and fury. Emily hears the crash of underbrush, turns, and screams, a sound cut short as 417's paw, the size of a dinner plate, strikes her shoulder. The camera flies from her hands, recording a chaotic whirl of sky and earth. Emily stumbles, her bear spray still clipped to her pack. The bear bites, her jaws closing on Emily's thigh, tearing muscle and snapping bone. The cubs scatter. Emily's screams echo, then fade. The attack lasts 17 seconds. Bear 417 retreats, her cubs in tow, leaving Emily crumpled in the dirt, her blood soaking the pine needles. Her phone, miraculously undamaged, lies a few feet away. She drags herself toward it, her vision blurring, and dials 911. Bear, help. Hidden Lake, she gasps. Rangers find her at 7:32 a.m., airlifted to Kalispell Regional Medical Center. She dies at 9:14 a.m. from blood loss and shock. Emily's death sent shockwaves through Montana and beyond. By noon, local news outlets were reporting, wildlife photographer mauled by grizzly in Glacier National Park. Social media exploded. #Emily Harper trended on X, with thousands sharing her photos alongside condolences and outrage. She knew the risks, one user posted. Why was she alone? Another countered, blaming her is disgusting. Bears don't belong in cages. The National Park Service launched an investigation. Bear 417 and her cubs were tracked via GPS. Debate raged over whether to euthanize her. She was protecting her young, Dr. Voss argued in a New York Times op-ed, killing her won't bring Emily back. Others, including local ranchers, demanded action. That bear's a killer now, said Tom Grayson, a Kalispell resident. What's next, a kid? Ultimately, rangers relocated 417 and her cubs deeper into the park, a decision that satisfied no one. Emily's family released a statement through her editor, Sarah. Emily lived for the wild. She wouldn't want the bear punished. Jake, her partner, gave a tearful interview on Good Morning America. She saw beauty where others saw danger. That was her gift. Her funeral drew hundreds, including park rangers and fellow photographers. A scholarship in her name was established for young wildlife photographers. Media coverage was relentless. The Washington Post ran a feature, "The Cost of Capturing Nature," questioning the ethics of wildlife photography. YouTube channels churned out dramatizations, some garnering millions of views. True crime podcasts dissected the attack, often sensationalizing Emily's final moments. It's like they forgot she was a person, Sarah told me, her voice bitter. Emily's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a mirror held up to our uneasy relationship with the wild. We romanticize nature, plastering it on magazine covers and Instagram feeds, but we flinch when it bites back. Glacier National Park sees 3 million visitors annually, many armed with nothing but smartphones and naivety. Park budgets, stretched thin, can't keep up with the influx. Rangers are overworked, trails overcrowded, and bears, squeezed by climate change and habitat loss, are forced closer to humans. The entertainment industry shares the blame. Wildlife documentaries glorify close encounters, fueling a culture of thrill-seekers chasing the perfect shot. "We've turned animals into content," said Dr. Maria Delgado, an ecologist. "Every viral video of a bear or a wolf desensitizes us to their power." Emily's work, though artful, fed into this machine. Her followers didn't just admire her photos, they wanted to emulate her, to feel the rush of standing 50 yards from a grizzly. This story also exposes our arrogance. We enter wild spaces assuming we're in control, armed with gadgets and bravado. Emily, for all her expertise, made a fatal miscalculation. She wasn't reckless, but she trusted her knowledge too much. As a society, we do the same, building homes in bear country, prioritizing tourism over conservation, believing we can manage nature. When it fights back, we're shocked. Animal rights come into focus here, too. Bear 417 wasn't a villain, she was a mother. Yet our instinct is to punish, to kill what scares us. The debate over her fate revealed a deeper divide. Do we value wildlife as equals, or as props for our amusement? "We need to rethink our place in their world," Dr. Voss told me. "We're not the main characters." I've covered hundreds of stories like Emily's, lives cut short by the clash of human ambition and animal instinct. Each one leaves a mark, a weight I carry in my chest. Emily's story hits harder. Maybe it's because I'm a woman in my 40s, like she might have been one day. Maybe it's because I've stood on those same trails, felt the pull of the wild, the urge to get closer. I've seen bears in Glacier, their eyes locking with mine, and felt that mix of awe and fear that Emily chased. What haunts me is the what-ifs. What if she'd hiked with a partner? What if the park had better funding, more rangers, stricter rules? What if we, as a culture, didn't demand such intimacy with the wild? I don't blame Emily, she was doing what she loved, what she was brilliant at. But I can't shake the image of her final moments, alone, her camera rolling as the world turned red. This story raises questions I can't answer. How do we balance our hunger for connection with nature's need for space? How do we honor the wild without losing ourselves to it? As a journalist, I'm supposed to uncover truths, but this one feels slippery, like trying to hold on to mist. Emily's death wasn't just a bear attack, it was a warning. We're running out of room to make mistakes. On a quiet trail in Glacier National Park, a woman and a bear crossed paths, and the world shifted. Emily Harper's life ended, but her story lives on, not just in her breathtaking photos, but in the questions she left behind. We can't bring her back, but we can listen to what her death tells us, that the wild is not ours to tame, that every step we take into it carries a price. As I write this, I see her final image, frozen on her camera, a cub, mid-tumble, framed by dawn light. It's beautiful. It's heartbreaking. It's a reminder that some mirrors show us truths we're not ready to face.